This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Cedric Simonet, the CEO of Altona Rare Earths. Thank you, Cedric, for joining us today following news about the Fluorspar at Monte Muambe. How are you doing, first of all?
Very good, thank you. How about you?
Yes, very good, thank you, Cedric. Of course, the last time we spoke was in person in London, and I know we talked a lot about going for the Fluorspar as a sort of early win, low-hanging fruit, so to speak, at the same time progressing with the rare earths there. So I'm just reading the news then this week about the Fluorspar here. So you've got the average grade that was assayed, sampling at sort of 88%, which you say exceeds your expectations. The grade is higher than the typical range for metallurgical grade Fluorspar, which is between 60 and 85%. And you say it may even grade as acid grade Fluorspar, typically over 97%, with further processing, which of course commands a higher price there. So, I mean, how are you feeling about these results, first of all? You've set out some numbers in the RNS as well, which sort of suggests that, you know, if you go for the lower end of these numbers here, you could be looking at some quite decent revenues coming through if you can get this going.
Yes, we are very happy with the results. As you said, they exceed our expectations. So to put things back into context, at Monte Muambe, as you know, we've got rare earths. We have a rare earth resource. That rare earth resource contains disseminated fluorspar, and we are looking at how we can extract this fluorspar as part of the rare earth project. But on the side of the carbonatite intrusion, we also have these small high-grade fluorspar ore bodies. And this is what has caught our attention over the past few months, because there is an opportunity to develop very rapidly these small ore bodies, very simply, and to generate some cash flow. And cash is very useful in these markets. So that's what we are doing. So in October, we collected about 300 kilos of samples of fluorspar ore from Monte Muambe, from this fluorite zone where we have the high-grade fluorspar. We crushed it by hand, and we did some hand sorting. So we removed pieces of rocks which were obviously not fluorspar from the sample. And this way, just by doing this simple process, which can be replicated using gravity concentrations method, we managed to get to a grade of 88% CaF₂, fluorite. So we are very, very happy with this. We still have some work to do. We must make sure that the impurities are as low as possible. And as you've mentioned, buoyed by these good initial results, we want to see also if it would be possible, why not, to produce not just metallurgical grade fluorspar, but also acid grade fluorspar, which is more complex. It requires milling, but because we had good initial results, it's worth trying. Okay. So the next big step for the fluorspar is a metallurgical study. We are sending a batch of sample to a laboratory called Peacock Simpson, based in Zimbabwe, just across the border from Mozambique, so that will be very quick. And this laboratory is specialized in metallurgy for simple processes like gravity concentration and flotation, exactly what we need.
Okay, good. So you're now going to go and continue the work to refine the metallurgy of the Fluorspar to see what you can get, and that will help to define the numbers. I mean, just taking the very lower end of the numbers there, so let's say metallurgical grade at $300 a ton, the lower grade production that you say there of around 15,000 tons per year. So you potentially, I don't want to hold you to this, I don't know what you can comment on, but that's $4.5 million in revenue a year. So that's a good start, I would say.
That would be an excellent start, and that would be a long way in supporting other activities, including activities on the rare earth project at Monte Muambe.
Okay, yeah. And it seems like it's gone a bit further than just, you know, you've got these results, because the RNS was talking about that the high grade there of CaF₂ has attracted interest from trading houses, and you're indeed in discussions with potential offtake agreements. So already you're seeing interest just from purely the grades that you're publishing.
There is a lot of interest on Fluorspar in general, and that's why we are talking to several possible trading houses. Fluorspar is a commodity which is very much in demand. It's not like rare earths in the sense that both rare earths and fluorspar are critical minerals, but rare earths is a very new commodity outside of China. There are very few operating mines, there are very few refineries. But fluorspar is a commodity which has been used for over 100 years and which has a very well-established market with many, many, many different applications. You can sell fluorspar anywhere in the world. You don't have to go to China. You can sell fluorspar in Mozambique. You can sell fluorspar in South Africa. You can sell fluorspar in the UK. So there is a very well-established market, and that's very important. And this market is growing, still growing, because fluoride, which is extracted from fluorspar, is necessary to make lithium batteries. You can't make lithium batteries without fluoride, which is extracted from fluorspar.
Okay, interesting. And I noticed as well from the RNS that you talk about you're already in discussions for modular, cost-effective processing equipment, aligning with your goal there of wanting to get into production quickly. So you're already really starting to get the ball rolling on a few fronts here.
Yes, we are doing this. As we've said previously, we've started a scoping study, which is aimed at being very practical. If the project looks favorable, we don't want to go scoping study, pre-feasibility study, definitive feasibility study, and so on. We'll do a scoping study. If it's positive, it will be designed so it can be implemented immediately. That's why we are talking about a short-term project. Right. So while we are waiting for the results on the metallurgy, which will inform the type of process, the CapEx and the OpEx, and also the revenue based on the type of product that we will have, we are working on other aspects of the project like extraction and logistics.
Right. Okay. And just tell me a little bit about the fluorspar market there, particularly with what's going on with China and a lot of export restrictions coming in, etc. Because I think China corners a lot of this market, don't they?
Well, China used to have a lot of this market, but lately their fluorspar mines have been drying up a little bit. So there are some other fluorspar producers in the world. But I think what's important is with the fluorspar market, and I will remind you, I used to mine fluorspar in France about 20 years ago now. Time is passing. What's important is really that the market is very well established and is growing because there are new applications that require fluorspar. It takes about 45 kilos of fluorspar to make one electric vehicle. Counting all the different applications in that electric vehicle, it's not just one. And very interestingly, I was reading the other day that fluoride may become in the future a competitor to lithium. It's technically possible to make fluoride batteries as opposed to lithium batteries. The technology is not yet working, but it's maybe a possibility in the future that we will have also fluoride batteries.
Interesting. Okay, good. So the focus is clearly now on the fluorspar. The rare earths is still ongoing, I understand, but the focus is really getting down on the fluorspar here. So in terms of what the market can expect, you're doing further metallurgical studies that will then help you define those kind of cost parameters that you talked about. And in the interim, you're also working on logistics and extraction processes. So, I mean, what are we thinking here? Are we thinking sort of rapid flurry of news flow when you're hoping to get a few of these things ticked off?
Well, as you said, we are still working on the rare earth project. Obviously, we are still working on the rare earth metallurgy and securing a strategic investor for this project. What we've not talked about yet is the mining concession, which was granted for the fluorspar for the rare earth project in late December, and we were informed in January. This mining concession is also valid for associated minerals, which includes fluorspar. So the beauty of this is that we already have the mining concession not only for rare earths but also for fluorspar. So that's a very good thing. In terms of timing, we intend to complete the scoping study as soon as possible. We will need to receive the inputs from the laboratory in Zimbabwe for the Fluorspar metallurgy, but within a couple of months, we will be through this scoping study, and we will have a go-no-go decision. And if the decision is to go ahead with the project, I'm expecting it could get into production within 12 months from that decision.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. As always, Cedric Simonet, the CEO of Altona Rare Earth.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.